And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good everything. This is our recreational music making celebration. And before we actually start the concert, I'm going to walk you through the schedule and let you know how the day's going to go and how to get on everything, because the logistics were a little tricky, to say the least. So I'm going to screen share the schedule here in a minute, and actually not in a minute, in a second. And so I'm going to put up on here, and just to make sure I see Joe and Sean. Can you see that okay? Okay. So folks, this is the schedule of events, and I know you've seen it many times, but pay very close attention because especially the workshops, because depending on how you what link you hit, you might get into the wrong workshop or the right one. But at 1 o'clock today Eastern, by the way, this schedule's all on Eastern time. So if you're in Florida, that's the exact time. If you're in Arizona, -3. If you're somewhere else, you're going to have to do the math accordingly. At 1 o'clock, we're going to do a welcome and orientation. Okay, let's start that. We're doing that right now. And in a moment, I'm going to introduce John Riley, the owner of Fletcher Music Centers, and he's going to give you a little history of the recreational music making, which is just a really nice little story on that. And then as soon as he's done with that, he's going to introduce Joe Fontechia to do our first concert, which from past to present is what we're labeling the concert. A musical journey from past to present, and he'll explain that in a moment, what that means. I thought it was a very clever theme for today, and so you're going to be in for a treat. Now, pay very close attention, very, very, very close attention, okay? Because before Joe's finale concert at the first concert, so this concert right here, before he finishes this concert, I'm going to come on briefly and show you about I'm going to explain the rules of the recreational making celebration giveaway. And as you know, everyone is eligible to win these prizes. And I'm not going to spend too much time on it now, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Okay? And even more importantly, or as equally important, should I say, at that exact same time, in this point here, I'm going to explain to you, and I'm going to do a little bit now too, how to get to your workshop. We have 3 different workshops all at the same time for 3 different groups of models, and these are the 3 clinicians. There is no rhyme or reason to the order, so I'm not going to tell you who's teaching what. And then we'll have our day 1 finale in a moment. Now, I will give you a little taste of it. This afternoon, or at 2 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours prior to the workshop time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Arizona, you will receive an email for these workshops that's going to start at 4 o'clock Eastern. And it's going to look like this, okay? Now, I'm going to just touch on this in a little bit, and I'll touch on it again before we proceed. But you'll see, and it says, read very carefully, because we broke up the workshops into 3 workshops at the exact same time, and each one is put together based on a group of organs. So you'll see right here all of the EZs and the LCs and the lower end, the entry-level series and the SD models. You'll see it has all of the EZs, the new SD Discovery 3, Freedom 3, Adventure Carnival, a list of organs that works for that. When it's time to join that class, if you have one of those models, you will want to click that link. And then for the intermediate models, and I listed as many models possible, okay? And the same thing, and you'll click that link for your class. So if there's something that's not there, you can call us immediately after. We'll have an hour in between. And then basically anybody who has a touchscreen Lowry model. I listed every one that I can think of. I hope I didn't miss one, but I've labeled every SU every A and every EX model that has a touch screen, and they're all listed there. So you'll click on your perspective link at the time. Now, it's very important, folks, that you go to the workshop that has your list of models, because of the capacity that our Zoom accounts, we schedule these accordingly, knowing that we may have more in one group than the other. So if you end up too many go to the wrong one, you might have some people that may not be able to get in. But if you go to the one that's designated for your model, we won't have that issue, okay? And then in the same email, it's going to have the link to the final concert, the finale concert this afternoon, which also happens to be the same link as right now. And the link is on the website, okay? So that's the workshops are happening at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 p.m. Arizona. These links will be emailed out 2 hours prior. And then you'll have to jump off of that link when you're done with the class and get onto the new link for the finale. And I'm going to tell you, Joe Fontechia's finale, day one finale, is going to be a finale that it's a style of music that you're all going to love, but you very rarely hear at a concert, on an organ fest, a bus trip, you name it. And so he's got a very special, rare, unique finale performance for you today. And then day two is going to be very similar to today. And when we get on and tomorrow, we'll explain the links again and the artists and so forth. That's going to be a little bit easier to deal with tomorrow. But today is most important to kind of get you in the habit of doing it, okay? So with that said, that is a little bit of the schedule. What I like to do now is I'm going to spotlight John Riley, owner of Fletcher Music Centers, and he's going to give you a nice little history of recreational music making, and then he'll introduce the star of the show today. So I'm going to spotlight Mr. John Riley, and it's all yours, John.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. And it's good to see everybody on the screen. This is a unique program, having to look at everybody on a computer screen. But it's really heartwarming to see so many people continuing to participate in the hobby of music. And we've got a great day for you today. I hope you enjoy it. We've put a lot of time into getting this ready. And it's exciting. It's the first time we've ever done anything like this, on a virtual type of concert. So we're going to make the best of it, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So thank you for joining us. And since we're celebrating recreational music making, I thought it would be appropriate to start our program by talking about the history of recreational music making and kind of how we got here. But before we can do that, we have to understand what recreational music making is. And simply defined, recreational music making is being able to experience the benefits of making music without having to endure the rigors of formal training. So that's kind of an academic definition, because it's really much more than that. The human race has always embraced music as an integral part of its culture. And we believe that everyone has an inherent desire to create music. Unfortunately, the vast majority of people didn't have the time or didn't have the opportunity to learn to play an instrument. So our industry, the music products industry, has always been looking for ways to get more people involved in making their own music. And here's something that will get your attention. The most successful recreational music making product in the history of the music products industry, believe it or not, was introduced in 1901. That's long before any of our time. 1901. And you know what that instrument was? It was the player piano. The player piano was introduced in 1901, and it was the first time that people were able to become immersed in music making even though their role was really just sitting on the bench and pumping the pedals to make the instrument work. But they were involved, and it became the centerpiece of the home back in the early 20th century. But even then, if you wanted to make your own music, you still had to practice, practice, and practice. Now, it wasn't until solid state electronics were invented, you know, with the transistors and followed by the integrated circuits, that technology truly allowed someone to enjoy music making without years and years of study. Now, this new technology became the catalyst for organs to lead the way in recreational music making. In the late 60s and in the early 70s, home organs began to offer automatic chording and automatic bass, which changed the way recreational music making was delivered. With this new technology, you could now play a simple melody with one finger on the right hand, and the entire accompaniment was provided automatically with just one finger on the left hand. And practically overnight, a new generation of music makers was born, what we called recreational music makers. Those of us that could now enjoy the thrill of making our own music using this new technology to take the place of all those years of study. Now, this became a real opportunity for our company, and it's really, really interesting, because as this hobby took root, researchers took notice of all the anecdotal evidence that was linking better health with this joyful hobby. In the mid-90s, our company was approached by an international team of medical researchers who had just completed a study on the effect of music on elderly patients that were suffering from severe dementia. And this study documented the positive health benefits music had on this group of patients. So the natural follow-up to that study was to see what effect music had on the well elderly. They were trying to find out if there were any preventative wellness benefits associated with being involved in the hobby of music. What was interesting was that Fletcher Music Centers, they viewed us as the natural laboratory, because we had hundreds of customers taking group organs on a weekly basis during that time. So this team of researchers came to us and asked if we would like to participate. And of course we said yes. And it was a very in-depth medical, scientific study. I won't get into all the crazy details, but in essence, the study was conducted over an 8-week period with our customers as the main subject. They took blood from all of our customers as a baseline, and they took blood about every 6 weeks, so they could see how things were changing as they were progressing through their group organ lessons. Well, it became clear that active participation in music had tremendous wellness benefits. The results of the study ultimately showed that the participants had elevated levels of melatonin, which is the hormone that helps us sleep, and along with significantly elevated levels of HGH, which is the human growth hormone. And that regulates cell reproduction and is, in layman's terms, is described as the key to slowing the aging process. And that's not to mention the psychological benefits, because psychological testing was part of this study. And they showed a significant decrease in the loneliness scale. And all this was due to being involved in group recreational music making lessons. Now, the positive results of this study just go on and on, but I think the most important thing that came from this was it got a bunch of other researchers interested in studying what music making, what effect it had, not just on the well elderly, but on all groups of people. And there were tremendous amounts of studies done in the ensuing years. And every one of those studies showed that recreational music making is not only fun, but it's healthy as well. Now, as the technology advanced, it just made music making even more fun. Now you can replicate your favorite music just as you remember it with the touch of a button and being able to play a simple melody. And this allows more and more people to realize their dream of creating their own music. Our company has been at the forefront of recreational music making, and we are known for our total commitment to the hobby of music. It's all we do, and it's all we have done since 1974. We don't sell traditional instruments that require years and years of study to play. We're only focused on the fun and well-being of being involved in the hobby of music. Now, I can tell by the people that I can see on my screen, anyhow, I can tell that I'm preaching to the choir here. But I thought it would be an interesting way to start our program for you to get a brief overview of how our hobby and our company evolved. I hope you kind of enjoyed what we talked about real quickly here. And more important is I hope it gives you even more incentive to keep making music. Now, this is not a good format, unfortunately, for us to be able to do any comments or questions or anything like that. But if you have any questions about anything I've discussed, or if you have any comments, just simply go to our website, and there's a Contact Us button on our website. Just click on that and a form will come up, and you can type any comments or questions in there. It'll ultimately get back to me, and I'll be happy to respond and address any issues or any questions that you may have. Now, speaking of recreational music making, we've got a great concert for you today, and I just know you're going to be wowed by this, and you're going to enjoy it. Joe Fontechia is our concert artist. Many of you have heard him play before. He is one of the finest musicians that I know. He's a trained classical piano player. He's also an arranger. He's done for a lot of the Broadway shows. He's done a lot of arranging for those shows. Just a phenomenal musician, but he has made his living traveling around the country years ago as an international concert artist, just touting the benefits of recreational music making. And he's going to take you on a musical journey from past to present. So please welcome, he's going to be playing the Lowry Liberty, and he's going to be taking you on this musical journey on the Liberty. So please welcome Mr. Joe Fontechia. Joe?
All right. Thank you, John. That was a heck of a speech there. I love it. I love it. Welcome, everybody. It's morning, noon, night. Some of you may be having martinis now. Some of you are having breakfast. But anyways, welcome to Fletcher Music Center's Recreational Music Making Celebration. And what I'm going to do today for you is I'm going to take you through a journey from music of the past to try to bring it up to present. Which means we're going to do stuff from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and as many of the time period we have too. Why I'm doing this is kind of is a concert. I'm really here to give you some unbelievable music. And I love Dixieland music, and that's kind of the 20s. In fact, for those of you that know about it, Dixieland actually saved my life because I was supposed to go on a boat that sunk, and because I was playing in the Dixieland band, we never did go on the boat. So I always have a heart for the Dixieland music. And so we're going to start off, and I'm going to do The Entertainer, which was revised from the movie The Sting, and then we'll get into Dixieland. And as you know, I do collect hats, so I didn't bring any, just this one today. So we're going to have some fun with this.
Big round of applause. Woo!
I'll smile. Very good.
Say so.
I've got to go to your class, Joe.
Oh, you're the best.
He's the best. He's the best.
Yes, he is.
Oh, I did a medley of quite a few different songs in that of the 20s and the early 30s. Was actually the Sting. There was 5'2", Dogtown
All right,
Stretch.
Joe, have your sound engineer mute us all.
Am I on now?
Yeah, tell your sound engineer to mute us all.
Okay, I'm okay. All right, everybody. Thank you very, very much. I was kind of a kickoff from the 20s and the 30s of music of that time period. 5'2", Bill Bailey, Won't You Please Come Home. I dedicated a little World is Waiting for the Sunrise to an old banjo player of mine. I played the banjo on that. I did Hold That Tiger at the end there. Kind of hurts your hand a little bit from sliding up and down. So we had a lot of different music in that. I hope you appreciate it. But let's move up in time. And this is quite interesting. Glenn Miller did of course, most famous of his, which almost every concert artist always does, and many of us teach it, is In the Mood. One of the most difficult songs, and I say it's difficult, is because of the chords that are used. And that's Moonlight Serenade. Now, the reason it's very difficult for a beginner to play it is because it has so many different chord changes. And if you play the easy version, it really doesn't sound too good because of the chord changes. So I found another song that I happen to, my wife loves old movies and she loves Wizard of Oz. And so recently we sat through Gone with the Wind. And of course, in that, there is one of the numbers. It's called Gone with the Wind. So for those of you that love the Glenn Miller sound, and I'm going to give that to you in just a second so that you can actually hear the Glenn Miller sound. And if you have Moonlight Serenade in your song setup, you can also use Moon Indigo. But those are very good songs because the Glenn Miller sound is unique because he uses the clarinet on the top and the saxophone harmony below. And you get a very unique sound. And you have to hold the notes, but you got to make sure the chord changes. So what I did is I found Moonlight Serenade, but I also got a copy of Gone with the Wind. And if you put those two together, it really is a nice medley. So here's how it sounds, the Gone with the Wind with Moonlight Serenade.
Beautiful, Joe.
Very good, very good. Beautiful.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you.
Excellent, Joe.
Thank
I
you.
just thought I'd do something
Hi,
a little
Joe.
different
Hi,
for
Joe.
Valentine's Day
Joe.
Oh, what was the last piece you
and
played?
give you some of the sounds of the past on that. Now let's move up in time a little bit because now we're going to come up to the time period that I kind of like, because when I was studying classical, I got my classical teacher really mad at me because I showed up with a boogie woogie number and she said, we don't play any of that type of music, we play classical. So I got her really mad, so I got a heart on this. This is the original boogie woogie, and it's really cool because you have a break in it, you have some funny things, you have a left hand movement on this, but just listen to this. This is really a cool setup for it. So we have that in here. Let me see if make sure I got it in here for us. Make sure I got it right. Hold on a second. Let me check the setups here. Give me 1 second. Okay.
All right.
Beautiful, Joe. Wow. Nice.
Thank you. That was the boogie woogie time.
Thank you. That was great.
Great
Round of
job.
applause, Mr. Joe Fontechia.
Hey, Joe. Loved it, Joe.
Vous l'avez, vous l'avez.
Are you laughing, Papa?
We should get mad
Awesome.
at that.
Still manage through the lockdowns and distance learning.
All right, so now we're going to move up. I moved up from the 40s. We're going to get into, actually, the next group that I had was actually Elvis Presley and Johnny B. Good, but that's enough. I just wanted to start
Joe, you sound a little quiet now.
a little above that, and then come back to.
Take a divide and conquer approach for the younger four.
Are we all right?
Yeah, you sound a
Okay.
lot quieter.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Beatle medley first because I like the Beatles area, and let me make sure I got it up here set up for us. And the Beatles, what I'm going to do are two numbers actually. One is the number called Something, and then the other number I'm going to use is called Scrambled Eggs. Now, you might laugh at that and say they didn't write a song like that. Well, actually, they did. He wrote a song that was late at night. When he got up in the morning, they were serving breakfast, and he didn't know what to call it, so he called it Scrambled Eggs. And so when they went to a recording studio to do it, they said, we can't call it that. What's that song that you wrote yesterday? And that's actually how they got the title. They said, so they used the words yesterday because it didn't really sound too good with the way the song would have been titled as Scrambled Eggs. So here is Something, and then we're going to go into Yesterday. Oh, no. Wait, what the heck? There it is. Sorry. All right, that's a little medley of the Beatles. I hope you enjoyed that.
Good,
Very
Joe.
good. Great singing,
Yeah,
Joe.
I did. I like that one.
Good,
You did,
Joe.
Joe.
Unbelievable.
Beautiful.
Good
Job.
job.
Along with you.
All right.
Love it.
I'm going to get through a different time.
What the hell is the
So
matter
again,
with
I kind of
people?
jumped
Not
about.
really, no,
Freaking
because I don't
self.
play it that well.
Welcome everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me all right. This next group is kind of fun because this is Elvis, and Elvis. I guess how are we doing on time? We doing all right? Okay. Elvis had so many hits. He always liked to hear his voice first. Because in that time period, they made a lot of music where the intro was the most important part. But Elvis didn't like that, so he always wanted to have his voice. So when you hear Elvis, you really hear his voice when we get to it. So let me load this up for us. Okay, and hold on a second. I'm going to have to. Yeah, so I'm going to load this back up for us. So this is Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog and Johnny Be Good. So hopefully we will load this. I put this into USB so that we can have this special arrangement put in here for us. So let me get it up here. All right, just got to wait a second here. We're reloading. Sorry about that, folks. But in the Elvis days, he wanted to make sure his voice was always heard first, because if you know the songs of the 60s, you can almost remember the songs when you hear the introduction. So when you hear the introduction, that was because in those days, there were so many records, they wanted everybody to be able to okay, it's not loading. Huh? So we'll do it a different way here for a second. Hold on a second, folks. Yes, wait 1 second. I feel like a Marco Mendez redoing a whole organ here for you.
I told you not to get that Toys R Us USB stick.
Hold on a second. Second.
Looks like you got a lot of setups on that.
Yes, that's why I'm trying to get to the right one as quick as possible here. Okay, all right. So we're going to have this introduction of Johnny Be Good. And the first one is Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog. One more time. Woo, finally got
What time
to
would that be?
Wow, very good, very good.
Oh, very good, Joe.
I'm in a class and it's done
Very
at
good.
2:15.
Way to go, Joe.
Thank you.
Good, Joe.
Little problem with
Great
the setup
show.
on that because so we switched over to the so now I'd like to jump up to an era that was very strange as far as musical goes
Get a mute.
because in that time period in the 70s was the disco era. And in the disco era, everybody complained that the music was not very good. Well, it wasn't the music, the melody, it was the background and the rhythm. The rhythms were unbelievable and actually very difficult to play. And so so it wasn't the melody that you had, it was the rhythmata because that's what they were dancing. So here's a song that I learned when it first came out, and it's called Love's Theme. And I kind of hope that you like it because it's kind of difficult, but it's more difficult if I were to be able to play the rhythms that go with it. But the keyboard is doing those rhythms for me, and it's in the key of D. It's called Love's Theme. So I hope you can follow along with it. It's really quite interesting. Okay, so listen. I hope you enjoy that. That was
Beautiful, Joe.
one of my favorites.
Very
Really
good, very good.
nice.
That was lovely.
Well, thank
To,
you.
uh,
Nice.
Good
Another
job,
one
wonderful,
before I turn it
beautiful
over
song,
to
beautiful song.
Robert for some announcement for you guys. And because during that time period also, we had country music. And in country music, there was a guy by the name of Floyd Kramer. And Floyd Kramer was very unusual. If you have where in your harmony section where it says duet, or you have one that says Floyd Kramer, it's the only one that's in there that actually the harmony is above the melody note, where in harmony, most of the harmony goes below the melody note. So he had a style that was quite unique. So I'm going to do a medley of a couple of country songs, Crazy, Release Me, and maybe one other one in there. But anyways, here's Floyd Kramer playing his style of piano for you. And again, this was very, very popular at that time too. All right, a little change of pace for our country music. I'm going to turn it over right now to Robert, and he's got a few announcements to tell you about what's happening for the rest of the day, and then I'll have a finishing number for you. And again, thank you all for showing up for this. This is great. I'm actually looking out into Sun City right now, and there's a guy putting a bottle of booze above his car. And that's about it for my entertainment here right now. I just thought I'd mention that. I hope he doesn't drive away with it. I'll have to go out there and catch that bottle. It really does. He has a bottle of booze. He's getting in the car. Let's wait and see if he really drives it. Oh, he did it. He remembered he had it. I'm sure the alcoholic put it in his car, so he's okay. All right, Robert, it's up to you.
So Joe is really focused on that bottle of booze, I could tell.
Good play-by-play there.
Well, Joe, I tell you what, I will do announcements if you promise to do another number after my announcements. Is that okay?
Well, I appreciate that. Will do, Robert. Thank you.
Okay, you better. All right. So a couple things. First of all, I'm going to go back to screen sharing. And as I mentioned earlier, the workshop, actually the links will be in your, if not already, they're in there. And I've updated them because I noticed that I forgot to put the Inspire and Rialto in here. So you'll notice that the new email will have that on there. But these workshops begin at 1 p.m. Arizona, 4 p.m. Eastern, and then wherever else you are, you'll have to do some creative time math. So that email is going to be in your inbox right now. And when it's time to start, just make sure to click on the appropriate link. But I did tell you how I was going to explain the rules of the giveaway. Now, first of all, can you all see that okay there? Sue, can you see that? The way I have my screen share, I only see a few people on my screen here, so I'm relying on you to help me out here. Sean is nodding his head. I got a bunch of people here. All right. So you'll notice right here is our grand prizes, and anyone can win one of these. Anyone. Unless you're not nice, then we disqualify you. No, just kidding. It's actually very easy. But I'll tell you how to do it in just a moment. But first of all, let me go through some of these wonderful prizes here. We have this really nice, beautiful music storage cabinet. And actually, this cabinet is a custom finish that actually matches many of the Lowry models. It was designed at one point in time to have that sort of finish. And this is a really gorgeous cat. Now, you can't tell by the size here, but if I was standing next to this, this would almost come up to my knees, I think. The last time I was able to see one of these, this one is in Florida. And if you open it up, it has all sorts of storage for music. You can use your music books, your discs, your floppies, your USBs. If your spouse gets out of hand, I guess you can stick them in there. We had some of our class leaders said some of my students got out of hand. I might just get one of these and stick them in there, stick them in the corner for an hour. So be nice to your class leaders. Dawn is shaking her head yes over there. Dawn, you must have some rowdy students over there at the Villages. I can see her in the background nodding like this, like this. Not Ramon though, right? Not Ramon? Ramon, you're on there. I'm picking on a few students here. Okay. All right. And then, of course, we also have this gorgeous Howard Miller Schoolhouse wall clock valued at $269. I love this clock because it actually has all these beautiful sounds that chime on the hour, what have you. It's very musical. You could actually set the time on this to tell you when it's time to buy a new organ, too. Did you know that? You didn't know that? I might be making that up, but I'd like to see someone win the clock so that they can say, at 3 o'clock, I have to call Fletcher Music Centers and upgrade my organ right away. But it is a gorgeous clock, and you see the finish here is a beautiful country oak finish. It's like the schoolhouse, as I put in there, the schoolhouse wall clock. And it's got a real nice brush finish pendulum there, what have you. And then, of course, we have 4 other prizes during our recreational making giveaway. And we have 4 different, let me zoom in a little bit. Woo, zooming in. We have 4 different bags here. You can only win one, but we have 4 different, you can see here, this one's got a real nice treble clef. It's amazing. These gifts here are always one of the main prizes that when we have on some of our bus trips, we'd sell those at our, what we call the Fletcher store there. And you'd be surprised how quickly these bags go. But this is nice because it holds, you can hold your favorite music materials, your favorite songs. Some people like to put all of their invoices of the instruments they purchased over the years, and they like to take them out of the bag and just kind of check it out and reminisce about all the wonderful times of upgrading their organ. But it's really cool and a really nice quality. You could see the handles on here. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you could see. Ooh, look at this one here. Oh, my goodness. A bag that has the actual classical version of, if you look real closely, the song Marianne is written disguised on there. Maybe Don is saying, no, that's not right. These teachers, they always catch me when I'm wrong. I don't know how to read music, folks. I just read Easy Play. So it looked like the song Marianne from a distance anyway. But anyway, we have these 4 wonderful prizes. Now the question is how do I register to win? Now let me go to my gallery view here, and let me just look on the screen here, and I need you all to just lip sync. How do I win? Ready? Go 1, 2, 3.
How do I win?
Okay, I see you're all asking. Okay. I'm not going to tell you today. I'll let you know in about 2 weeks from now. No, just kidding. Just kidding. It's going to be real easy, folks. At 3 o'clock today, Eastern, that's 12 o'clock, okay, you're going to receive an email, and it's going to be real simple. It's going to have a copy of the flyer that I just showed you, and then right below that email or the flyer, it's going to say, here's how to register to win, and it'll give you some instructions to do a product or program survey, and that's it. So the most important thing is when you get that email, just follow the instructions, and it'll tell you exactly what to do, and that's it. I know it sounds too simple, but it is that simple, okay? So when you get the email, if you have any questions about that, just pick up the phone and call a Fletcher Music Center's location, and they'll be glad to tell you what to do in the email, because the email says it right plain as day. So that's happening at 3 p.m. Eastern. You'll get that email. It's already scheduled. It's ready to go. All right. And right now you should have the workshop links. So with that said, Joe promised that if I did some announcements and told you how you could register to win, that he would play a finale number to close off this part of the program. Is that right, Joe?
That is correct. Thank you, Robert. What
Okay.
great prizes we have to offer there. Make sure you register, everybody, and check that link at 3 o'clock, which will be 12 o'clock, yeah, I guess Arizona time for everybody.
Can you put
But
the mic
anyways,
up to your mouth again?
Can
you put the mic up to your mouth again?
I guess
Can't hear
my
you.
mic slipped down. I guess.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, you can hear me.
You're
All
too
right.
focused on that booze.
As far as time goes on, I was very fortunate to do many musicals. Was musical director, and so I'm going to finish with some of the Broadway songs from a few musicals, and I hope you enjoy this for our finale here. got
fantastic.
stuck in the middle of that. My hand just recovered from talking about it. I
Oh,
guess
that
I
was
had.
wonderful.
Thank you all very much, and I'll
Very
see
good,
you
very
later
good. Good
today.
job.
Thank you.
Big round of applause.
Thank you,
Yes, big
Joe.
round of applause. Thank you very much, everybody. And don't forget, we have the workshops happening in about, what time does it start? It's 11:30, 1, 2, 3. I
About
got
an hour and a half.
always an hour and a half. Thank you very much. And again, another round of applause before I end it.
Bravo.
This is where you can do complete chaos.
Thank you, Joe.
Good job, Joe.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you, everybody.
Good job.